Manchester 3, Lense 1. We saw through the Lense people. The game's finished. We played our first Old Trafford home game with the new players such as Onana, who slipped on a banana, and some people in the Twitter spaces are already telling you he's shit, he's that. Calm down, people. Sit down, please. Don't get the knives out as of yet. Listen to what Uncle Mick has to say. Mason Mount as well. Haters. Salty people. Chelsea fan, rival fans are clipping him, saying even the Weghorst could have done that sitter. But think about it. You know, it's your debut game. You're playing in front of Theatre of Dreams. Of course, adrenaline is going to fly high. You want to impress. So it's arguably to say that there might be some woman there in the Stretford and they were flashing her titties, and Mason Mount looked up and they missed. But yeah, that was bad. But all in general, people, I'm really proud of our boys. I'm really proud of Onana. And it wasn't really Onana's fault, if you think about it. You know, you look at it, you know, how the weakness in the first half was pretty much 𝒂𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒔𝒕. Of course, it was his first start to play for 90 minutes. Tenhag backs him. Tenhag believes in him. You know, you also have to give, 𝒂𝒚 a little bit of a rest. But in the first half, according to my opinion, the weakest link, or the Pratt of the game, if you might say so, was 𝒂𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒔𝒕. A little bit ring rusty around the defense, but good going forward. He was caught napping there. And, you know, Lense had actually 2 shots on targets. And that was the one where you got to get, when you play highline, that lob over Onana. And what could have he done? Nothing. Just expect that you will see more of this exploitation during Premier League season, during, like, you know, the cup plays and stuff like that, that people are going to try to, they know that he's playing a high line and they're going to try it. But the question is, how many times will the ball go in? Maybe once, maybe twice, but I don't think so. Anyway, so don't slate Onana and don't slate Mason Mount, because for me, Mason Mount, if you look at his performance, his role at Erik ten Hag's team is to be that shitbag that under Herrera used to be. Off the ball, he was pressing, he was destroying, he was freeing up the spaces, finding spaces, creating the path for people to score. And that is his goal. And that's what he plays in the system. So that's Mason Mount. Yeah, if he does get a couple of goal scoring opportunities, that's a bonus. But that's not his prime job, is it? Right? So please sit down, you know, take a little bit of time to reflect on the overall game. If you got to look at for me, it was a game of 2 halves. Of course, this was the first time, kind of the image that we might see how Ten Hag is kind of lining up against Wolves in 1 week's time in the Premier League opener. That might be so, but I would argue to say that, you know, Wan-Bissaka instead of 𝒂𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒔𝒕 would be a much better option. But for me, it was a game of 2 halves. We look a little bit nervous in the first half, but we were still under control, right? If you sort of look at it from how many shots on targets Lense had and how many goal scoring opportunities we had, we were totally far the better team in the first half. Seeing through the lens, which is the team, that's what we did. Because for me, in the second half, when we came out, we saw through the lens. The nerves and adrenaline kind of calmed down a little bit. Ten Hag spoke to them about the transition of play, how important it is. We saw that leage is so happy to play with Onana because he understands. So the transition of play starts from the back with Onana. How we move the ball to the midfield and midfield transitions over to the attack, we saw that what Erik ten Hag is trying to do. Now, kudos to the youngster, Alejandro Garnacho. That guy, he's going to cook this season. It was been a slow embedding. We saw glimpses of Garnacho. But it's going to be a fantastic headache to see when Rasmus Højlund comes into the game and playing that central focal number 9. Because let's face it, Rashford ain't a number 9. He's a winger. So all of a sudden we're going to have rotation. We're going to have fire, power. Garnacho, for me, was the man of the match from minute 1 until he got replaced by Sancho. When Sancho came in, looked so aggressive, so reassured, a total different Sancho that we saw last season. Sancho is now putting his body on the line. If we may argue that say that Sancho was that turtle, a turtle will only stick out its neck a little bit outside its house to look out. But as soon as there's danger, threat, the turtle will pull back his head to protect himself. Now Sancho this season is totally strong, neck out outside the house, and refused to pull back the neck into the house. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a totally different Sancho, according to my opinion. Midfield is looking strong. Midfield is going to look better with Amrabat comes in as well. Now Amrabat is that destroyer, that number 8 box to box like under Herrera, but 3 times, 4 times better, and even 3 times, 5 times, 10 times better than Fred, going up and down. When Amrabat comes in, that midfield will be cooking. There'll be instances where you're going to play a double pivot in Anfield against City, when you get play with Casemiro sitting a little bit deeper, with Amrabat a little bit further up, and then you will have the rotation either to play Bruno or a Mason Mount. But all of a sudden, that defense with Onana, that midfield with Amrabat in it, and that attacking line, if we're going to play 6, with Rasmus Højlund leading the line as the central focus point, you have now a fantastic fresh legs rotational. On the right hand side in attack, of course, so proud to see a little bit of a confidence that Anthony Dos Santos scored his goal. I'm also proud that we see, you know, Marcus Rashford's getting his goal, because this is confidence. They will now go in with boost of confidence, and now the goal scoring starts. Now, if you're going to speak about who we can rotate, Anthony, of course, we got Sancho that can play there. We have Ahmad that can play there. We have got Police that can play there as well. So we are good. We are good. The only worry that I do have is the number 9, because I don't want us to overplay Højlund. So there I can see also Rasmus Højlund being rotated with Rashford as well. We have an Anthony Martial that's on the bench as well, getting his hamstring work by the voodoo doctor from Arsenal. So I think we'll be good. We'll be cooking. But for me, it was a game of 2 halves. The second half was cool, composed. We saw we had the confidence. We saw how we were playing around them. We were toying around them. And that is the sign that I want to see. It was a good practice game. For me, the man of the match, as I said to me, must be Garnacho. 100% Garnacho. It must be Alejandro Garnacho. The way he was attacking, the way he was a constant threat, moving that left wing. You know, that's the worst thing that you hate as a defender, that you have somebody constantly running at you, constantly being a goal threat. And he, according to my opinion, was the man of the match. I want your opinion. I want your feelings. I want you to let me know what you think. Was Garnacho the man of the match, or was it Alicia, or was it Casemiro, who always get the man of the match? But so brilliant to see the second half that we are starting to see a better Manchester United. This was a crucial win for the confidence, and now we kick on against Dublin and Wolves next weekend. It's been Mick Ruby from Mufc Realist TV. We did have a watch along before, a successful one. I managed to do a watch along for over 90 minutes. Please go check it out, and please like and subscribe to this video as well. Bye for now.
That's all, folks.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow us on the socials.